So in the spirit of talking about all this fun stuff that we've got going on here recently with myself and Welder Beast, with taxes and such and learning things that I didn't know, I figured today would be an excellent day for a subject along the lines of talking about self-assessment. I really wanted to reiterate the whole fact, and I wanted to talk about it a little bit today, is you really need to know and understand why you're starting a welding business. And make sure that those reasons are actually practical. My family got a long line of being in business, starting businesses. I've got extended family that's got very successful businesses. Grandpa did businesses. My dad ran businesses. So I thought it was just the best thing to do. And then, there's, of course, with the new big push of, entrepreneurship is the thing now. To be an entrepreneur, if you put entrepreneur on your Instagram, you're the bee's knees. You're the best. You're cool, right? Well, one, if you're actually an entrepreneur, not just putting it on your Instagram profile, it seems that there's a lot of misconceptions about what it actually is to be in a business and what it's actually going to provide for you. A lot of the welding businesses, but business courses I see out there, I see them all the time. There's people making businesses or making money off of businesses teaching people how to have a successful business. If that didn't make sense, let me reword that. There are people making a living, making money off teaching others how to make a successful business. And that is their successful business. They've never had a successful business before. They teach other people how to have a successful business, but their successful business is only successful because they're teaching people about something they've never actually had. That's why I've been very clear, and if I have not been clear enough, I'm going to hit it again. I am not teaching you how to have a successful welding business. I'm teaching you about how I started. Two complete different things. I'm not promising you are going to succeed at all, and I'm not promising that it's anything other than what it's not. I really want you guys to understand what it truly means to be a business owner, what it costs, the costs involved with starting your own welding business. And if it's something you really want to do, that's the whole purpose of these videos, is to be 100% raw and honest with you guys throughout my whole process, how I feel about it, and what's really going on. I'm not trying to blow smoke up your backside and let you know, like, hey, it's the best thing. You make so much money, you're going to do all this. And so that's kind of the whole theme for today's video, and it's just a real quick talk after I got that all laid out for you. But is understanding that is, if the businesses these business courses are promising you that it's going to be great, how to make passive income, how to make so much money, if you buy a watch over in China for $2, you can sell it for $10 over here. Well, they forget the whole part of the most difficult part. You got to sell the thing. So it doesn't matter what you do. If you buy a watch for $2, try to sell it for $10. If you're a welding service, any kind of business whatsoever, the hardest part is selling your service or your product. It's all in sales. So if your happiness is going to be tied up in doing things that you enjoy doing, you need to assess what a business is really going to give you. First, starting off, I can promise you, a business will not give you loads of cash. That's more like a 5 to 6 years down the road kind of thing. I'm only 1 year in. I'm still like 5 years away from actually seeing like the money that I want to see from this thing. So if it's not the money, great, that's fine. You don't want to work for someone else. Okay, well, you'll always work for someone else. If you're not working for a boss or an employer, then you're working for the client or the customer. There's always going to be someone telling you what you need to do. And if you guys don't realize it now, I will bring it up. Your bills are also the boss. If you got bills coming, you think you're going to just sit back and not do anything, just going to coast, well, I hate to tell you, when those bills come around, you're going to work whether you want to or not. You're going to work 6-7 days a week whether you want to or not, because bills got to get paid. So I would love to say, I don't want to work this weekend. Bills are like, you're going to work this weekend, and you're going to work every other day from here till all eternity to pay back everything you've spent on getting this business started. So bills are also going to dictate whether you work or not. You don't get to just take time off all the time like you think. You don't really have the freedom of choice that they promise with business. It might be like 20 years down the road, and I know there's a lot more experienced welding businesses that watch me. Just read the comments. They're going to throw something out there and tell you that either I'm wrong, I'm right, or tell you something different about, their perspective on it. But look, it's not promise of money. You're still making a wage for yourself. And then what it ends up being is if you scale, you then are having to make work for other people. And, in 10, 20 years, eventually you will be making money off of other people's work. But owning a business in of itself when you first start out will not make you tons of money. It's not going to be passive either. It's going to be a lot of difficult choices and a lot of difficult things, and you don't get to just take off whenever you want. So the next part about it is it takes a while to get traction. For me personally, up to this point, I felt like every time I get a little bit ahead and I could even think about kind of relaxing or giving off a little bit, just, all right, we're getting somewhere, as some sort of expense comes up and hits me. Like the years back around, I got to pay for my general liability insurance. It's something else coming now. I got to do taxes. I got to pay for tax assessment, or tax preparation. This, that, and the other. It's just things keep coming up. So every time I think I get ahead, something comes up. You got to spend the money. So as far as when I feel like I'm actually going to be getting ahead, I don't know, guys. We're a year into it, and I do not feel like I'm getting ahead. I feel like every time I do, I get hit with something, and I'm just treading water right now. So that's a reality for you guys. If you want to be in that constant tension of feeling like, I don't know if I'm going to make it next month, because every time I do have extra cash, something breaks, something goes wrong, an expense comes up that I forgot about, an expense comes up that I didn't even think about. So that's constantly going on. So you're not making tons of money. You don't get to take off whenever you want. Things constantly come up that you couldn't have possibly planned for, because a business is so different than being an employer or an employee. You guys, I wish I could convey that to you. Being an employee, you don't have to worry about anything. Man, when I was working, I had my retirement taken care of. I had my medical taken care of. I had my paycheck. Obviously, it was a very decent paycheck. All that stuff was taken care of for me. Now, I've got to try find, and taxes too. You guys won't think it, but taxes were taken care of for me if you're making a paycheck. So now I have to pay for someone to take out the checks or take out my taxes. Or set the taxes aside. So I make money, I gotta make sure and put the taxes aside. If I want anything to retire off of, I need to personally be putting money aside. I have to pay for my own family's medical. So that's another expense. So I've got to make so much, and then I got to make so much more just to make up for all those expenses that you don't really think about. Like, this job I made $2,000. Like, well, no, actually you probably made about $1,200, because you got to pay for your own medical. You got to set taxes aside for that money. You got to make sure and put something ahead for future accidents. So this is all stuff that's going on with the business. So I want you guys to just be aware of it, think about it, and if it just really excites you about the challenge, overcoming challenge, and constantly growing, scaling, growing yourself personally, and pushing your limits outside your comfort zone, then a business is totally for you. I say go for it. But if you're doing it just for money, or just, to do whatever you want whenever you want, that's not what it's about, guys. That's really not what I have found anyways, and I'm sure someone will correct me if they think otherwise. But just trying to keep it real with you guys today. That's what it's really about. Business is a lot of hard work, more work so than just being an employee and getting a check out at 5 o'clock every day and have weekends off. You're on all the time. I can only say it so much, and others have said it before, but that's kind of wrapping up the video for today. I know I went a little long, and there's kind of a little bit of a rant, but I hope it helped. I hope it motivated. You guys have a great day. As always, I'll talk to you later.